Hi everyone, it's Lesley here from Elegant Edges, and today I have lots of new product from the new catalogue that started on the 1st of May for Stamping Up. So first of all, I've got the 6x6 papers. This is the one I'm going to use today. It's called Thoughtful Journey and they are beautiful. They're sort of watercolour papers really. Lovely look, and both sides are equally beautiful. So you might want this side. So one sometimes has a stronger design with a very sort of washy look, if you've ever done a bit of watercolouring. Beautiful. If you're not familiar with Stamping Up, I love the way on the papers they give you the colours, which is a big help. Okay, so we're going to be using these today, and specifically this particular paper. Okay, so to go with that, and helped by the names on the back of the card, I've chosen Lost Lagoon for my base, and it's going to be a card with two flaps. So I have a card base and I have two flaps. I have a piece of contrasting card which I've chosen from the papers, and this is a new one. This is Peach Pie, which is one of the brand new in colours, and I've also got some white so that I can have somewhere to write. Okay, now to go with these, I'm using this beautiful die that comes from, not that one, comes from this one, the Thoughtful Wishes stamps. Obviously, you can tell by the name it goes with that one. This is this lovely die. So I always keep my dies in with my stamps so I don't lose them. And I've already got a stamp out of here which I'm going to be using. This particular stamp I'm going to be using on the inside. To go with that, I'm using Sentiments from the Unbounded Love, and I'm going to have Celebrate. I've made so many birthdays, I thought Celebrate is a great one just for anything really. To go with the Unbounded Love, there are so many dies they wouldn't fit in my case. Look at all these. So lots of them have sort of little frames that fit. So I've chosen a frame that we're going to be using today. So I'm just going to put those on one side because they're going to get in the way. So let me just find a little gap for those. Okay, so we're going to start. All the sizes are on my new Facebook page, which I will link at the bottom in case I get it wrong because it's so new. I'm going to start with this piece of DSP. And we're going to start by chopping it in half, which seems very cruel, but 3. So half and half. And then I have a little cheat sheet here in case I get a bit nervous and do it wrong. I'm going to cut it. So I need a bigger image and a smaller image. Well, maybe that's for the bigger one. So I'm going to choose this one. Oops, let's get it in the trimmer. So I'm cutting it off center. And then this one I'm cutting off center in the opposite way. Okay, so we'll get ready for those. Now, on here, it's a double flap card, so I have a base. My two flaps that I've already cut, we're going to take them, and on the long side of each, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. So this trimmer is brilliant because it's got up to 1.5 inches on the right. So if you've only got a little amount, you can push it over to 1/2 inch. This is the scoring or cutting track. The light one scores, and I'm going to score it very well. And then you always fold away. This is beginner tip. So again, large one, move it over to 1/2 inch. Light blade, score several times, fold. I am going to get a bone folder and burnish that really well. Well, I will in a moment when I find it. Okay, so let me just find that. Not my one I was looking for, but it'll do. And I'm just going to press down really firmly and burnish that very well. Okay, so I'm going to take my base, make sure I'm in shot. And first of all, I'm going to take the larger flap. Now I'm using wet glue. This is Tombow. And I've just decanted it into a small bottle with a fine tip that I've managed to glue up. I like this one because not only does it make my glue go further, but I don't normally get big splodges. Okay, now when I stick it down, I'm going to come in 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to stick it level with the top, approximately 1/8 of an inch on the right. If it's a fraction more, it won't matter, but try and get it about 1/8 of an inch. Just check while it's wet that you're in line. Okay, looks right. Burnish down, helps it to stick inside. Doesn't matter about that, it's going to get stuck over. This one, we're going to do the same thing. Come on, glue. I've obviously been making too many cards today. We're going to do the same thing on the side, up 1/8 of an inch, in line at the side. Just check it looks about level. Yep. As long as it's not hanging over, that'll be fine. Okay, that's pretty good. And now you'll see why. So that when I add a contrasting layer, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller than my base, you'll see that it kind of hides most of the flaps where they're stuck down. So I'm just going to give it a quick scoot round with the glue. There we go. So that's successfully hidden a lot of the flap. Now before I stick my white layer on, I'm going to do a bit of stamping. I'm going to choose Pretty Peacock because it matches the die cut that I've chosen. I've got a large stamp. I've got a stamp pad because I've got, well, I haven't actually, but I like to always use a stamp pad. I was going to say because I've got a photopolymer, but it isn't. And what I'm going to do is, you can see I've only inked the corner, and I'm going to ink it again, and I'm just going to stamp on this sort of bottom left hand edge. Okay, just make sure I've got it inked. Now it's not critical how we do it. It's just a little bit to take the plainness off that white layer. There we go. Just a little design on the bottom. And before we do anything else, I'm just going to clean my stamp, because it's good practice to clean it straight away. Put my chamois back. Put that away in a second. Okay, get my stamp mat out the way. So now we can go back to the base. Before I do that, I'm going to shut up my glue, my stamp pad, and put those away. Because somehow I know I'll get ink everywhere. Make sure I'm still in shot. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is pop this inside. Now this is a really easy card, but it's quite effective. And it really does let the papers do all the work. So we've got a little bit of stamping. Now, what we're going to do now is to choose the papers that I cut. So I chose a big one there and a little one there. Now, if you don't like that, you could have that one there. So I'm going to pop that on there. Whoops. Not too much glue. Just try and get it in the middle. Okay, one here. I do love this sort of like burning bush design. Now what I'm trying to do here is to sort of line up with the white, line up with that edge. Okay, and now we have two bits of paper. Now I could put that way or that way. And it's purely whichever you like. I think I like the paler one. Just personal choice. Just move that. That's the beauty of wet glue. You have a little push, and if you do it quickly, okay. So I'm not going to put any more stamping inside. Because I'm going to leave it open, celebrate, then I can do the rest with my message. Okay, so to go on the top, I have this beautiful die, and I'm going to put it hanging off the left here, so I don't need glue everywhere, which is why I didn't use double-sided adhesive sheets. So I've got my finger to stop me putting too much glue on, and I'm just going to put some little dots on. If you put too much on, you can either take it off, you can gently, like that's quite heavy, you could gently wipe your finger on it. You could let it dry, let it sort of 3/4 dry, and then maybe a bit there. It goes tacky, so we're going to have it down here, hanging over there. Okay, so we've got a nice contrast. This is Pretty Peacock, one of my favourite colours. Goes really well as a darker shade of the Lost Lagoon. I've got Sentiments and Celebrate, and you can see I purposely showed you. This is one of the dies that goes with the set. Comes from this one, which is the Unbounded Love, and this is one of the sentiments from there. What I like to do is to stamp first and then die cut. So if you're kind of a little bit hesitant about, oh, will I get the dies in the right place, that's a good way to do it, especially if you're learning stamping. Now I'm using up some really old dimensionals here. They're not particularly good, but you know, we don't want to waste things. So I'm going to have it hanging over the end. So again, I don't want to have it a little bit too long. Let me trim that end off. Now, I purposely did not use my lovely Stampin' Up snips because I didn't want to get adhesive on them. So let me have that hanging over there, just sort of centrally-ish. Okay. And now I need some gems. So let's find, I have all sorts of gems here. And what I like to do is just literally think, well, what goes with them? I'm not going to just use the latest ones. They would go particularly well though. Do like those. These are the new ones. These are the in colour shimmer gems, and of course the shimmer does go with that. Oh, it's very tempting. Have I got anything else I'm trying to use up? Because I think this is what we should do. We should use up our stash and not just reach for the latest, which is one thing I'm very guilty of, actually. It's just using all the latest stuff. No, I like the new ones. How did I know? So I always cut the end off my packets for the gems. I find they pull in and out so much better. So, ooh. Oh, yes. So I'm going to choose these. And this is one of the new colours. This is Peach Pie. And I have 2 there. Do I want a third anywhere? Ooh. Normally I like to do things in odd numbers. I could have 1 there. Maybe I'll just put 1 there. Okay. So put my gems back. That will go home in just a second. Little tidy. So here we have it. Now it's not lying particularly flat. You can have another burnish. The thing is, if you put a weight on it, by the time leave it overnight, it'll be nice and flat. You can see it's already going down nicely. It's a card that's a little bit different. You've got flat there, plenty of room to write. Celebrate birthday, celebrate anything, passing your test, moving house. A lovely new card with those gorgeous papers. So look down the bottom and I will link where you can find the dimensions and all the materials that I've used. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye.